Hi, it's 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One, and today I've got a fun PvP fight for you. This is me and my Mamba versus a meta FDL. I do have one fixed weapon, so I'm not a complete gimbal scrub in this build. I am actually in the process of making all the frag cannons, all the large frag cannons fixed on this bad boy. I'm going to keep the smalls as gimbaled because they're just there for effects, corrosive and drag. But this was a fun fight with a meta FDL. This was a silly fight, and as I was in the fight, in the middle of the fight, my brain started wandering off and going, you know what? I know what this ship reminds me of. This ship reminds me of when I used to play as Honda on Street Fighter back in the days on the arcade, Street Fighter 2s. This isn't Street Fighter 2, the graphics are a lot nicer. But, you know, it reminds me of, like, literally it is Honda. The flying headbutt is obviously the ram, and the frag cannons, well, they're kind of like the, you know, 1,000 arm punch that he does, or whatever it is, the speedy hand thing, you know. Yeah, and this thing does like to get in close and grapple with you, and when it hits you, it hurts. So, you know, it is like playing as Honda in Street Fighter. It's really slow, it's really like difficult to maneuver, but when it lands, it hurts. And to be honest, I was having really good fun flying this. I would say the meta FDL is either Ryu or Ken, depending on your choice. But basically, yeah, that's the kind of choice. It's like the most commonly played character. It is the favourite, you know. Does that make, like, I don't know, this ship analogy for Street Fighter characters? You know, it's kind of silly, but it was just the way it plays. That reminded me of this. Now, what I'm trying to do is sort of match up and you know, hit the ram. So I'm trying to push, use my laterals and my verts to push through forward to that circle till we collide and have a nice little ram. He's after a couple of rams, I think he's now trying to pull away and stay away from the rams, you know, as much as possible. Or nope, not quite yet. Still going for the rams at the moment. But FDLs do deliver a really hefty plasma ram. That's the thing. This is something most of the time they want to be doing. Yeah, that was just really poor piloting by me. I'm not any great shakes in the piloting front. I need to get better. This is kind of like George Foreman just slowly stalking you down to the corner and then trying to smack you up. You know, there's not much finesse in my piloting style in these fights. As you can see, flight assist is on for the most part. Occasionally I flight assist off, but it's very occasionally. You know, as this fight wears on, I do change up my flying style, depending on whether I've got shields or not shields. It is, I say, it is a very interesting ship to fly in so much as, you know, a lot of what I'm doing is more difficult because I'm not flight assisting off. But then equally, when you ram, I think it's better flight assist on. But all in all, I'm learning and I'm still progressing with this ship and still progressing with my PvP combat. I have like two distinct styles of flying for my beam lance and for this, and you know, it's fun to have different ships for different things. I will start, I think I've got one more tier of engineering to do for my little Vulture to get that ready for some Vulture PA duels to practice getting used to flight assist off and hitting with PAs and stuff like that. That's going to be where you know, my training wheels really show, and I'm probably going to die 1,000 times in that Vulture, but that's what it's there for. It is the training wheels protocol. It is to help me just learn to fly, because after so many years of being a truck driver, just a truck driver, it's awkward to change. I mean, way back when I learned 3-4 flight assist off maneuvers, so to make it easier for me to escape and evade in my Type 7. You know, the boost flip where you can flight assist off, flip, flight assist on, you're now flying backwards at the same speed as you're flying forwards. You know, and so you have a motor forwards, but the person who drops in on you when they interdict you expect you to be facing the other way. So when they boost at you, you boost past them, and now it opens up a gap so you can low wake. I don't do that one anymore because I still advocate high waking is safer, but it actually still works. You know, people always expect you to be facing the other way, so it works either way. It works. It's great at like separating ships that are slow. If you get them boosting at you when they don't realise you're facing them, you know, it helps you open that gap up, and means you take less damage and you can high wake or, you know, sometimes low wake. It's an easy one to do in the Mamba, my speed Mamba, my fast Mamba, basically because they get used to me sort of, you know, always doing the same thing, always jousting. As soon as I want to get out of there, I just double boost and I'm gone. Before you know it, in that thing it goes like 630. So in that thing I'm like very gone almost immediately. There's actually I've changed up my speed Mamba and made it even faster, and changed the weaponry on it because obviously the frags are all on this now. And this is my frag Mamba, and that is now a dedicated just fast Mamba. I can't wait to give that a go. It's for the right circumstances that's being used. But as you can see, this fight is actually pretty close. This guy's doing a lot of damage on those plasma rams, and he's avoided the ram enough and hit me enough with plasmax to make this a real close fight. Now, I'm kind of having to rely on my frags for the damage, which is probably not a good thing for me. Let's face it, at the end of a fight in this ship you should have done most of your damage with the ship, with the size 7 hardpoint that is the ram. I kind of get back on track a bit with him, but there's always the danger of being fireball. You know, when they fireball, when you hit you with those plasmax, especially when you're on no shields, they're going to hurt massively. You know, so now we're both shieldless, I believe, and it's coming back round, and I've now, you know, adjusted, so I'm now going 033, and I'm really just wanging it around. I'm flying how I would with my FDL, so what I'm trying to do is fly very aggressive, fly very fast. Occasionally I will spiral outwards to dodge plasmax shots. Most of the time though, at this point I'm still pushing in because I'm still trying to ram and brawl with this guy. But obviously, as you can see, I'm now able to turn a lot quicker. I'm getting straight back on target a lot quicker, even with flight assist on. You know, I'm not that slow in the turns anymore because, you know, with that extra speed and pips into systems, even though this ship weighs an absolute ton and has B-rated thrusters, it's still pretty decently fast. It's still, you know, as fast as most meta lances, so that is, you know, a good thing. You don't want to be in the slower ship a lot of times in a duel like this. It's one of the reasons why Vaz is very difficult for me to fight in this, is because his Phantom is so much faster, and therefore he can dip out and recharge his shields and dip back in. He controls the pace of the fight. That's not something I can afford for people to do when I'm in this. I've been beaten by better pilots than me, who in meta lances, who will basically dictate the pace of the fight by hovering at distance and using their railguns more and not engaging with the rams and the close-in brawling stuff. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm really enjoying this ship because it's kind of like teaching me a few things, and I am spaffing way too much frag ammo. I need to be way more disciplined and patient with my shots, like, you know. But as you can see from his hull, at this point I'm pretty decently ahead in this fight, and I'm feeling quite confident. The only thing that would tip it into his favour now is if he gets those shields back before he dies. So he's trying his hardest to get those shields back. He's probably sat there and switched all the boosters off by now. You can see I'm not bothering with that because, one, because I'd have to sit there switching all the boosters off, and two, I don't want to do anything other than 033 at this point. My aim is to end this fight as quickly as possible. Also, I'm hoping that if he does get his shields back, I can ram them off. Now, ramming a shielded ship and an unshielded ship is pretty much tantamount to suicide these days. I don't know when that change came in, because in the old days, in my Cobra, I used to ram shielded chips all the time. Just as not as far, as far back as the party night video. There's a great ram between me and Garrick, which is absolutely hilarious. It's my favourite moment in the whole night's fighting. It's like me and Garrick see each other and immediately just ram together. But the dynamic changed, and by the time that I rammed Corvinus in my Cobra in a fight against this Frag Mamba, the amount of damage I took was suddenly way more, and I was like, oh, when did this change? What happened? What, did I miss an update? And it must have been something in an update that I didn't pay attention to, because I'm not a PvP combat guy, and they made it much more punishing if you ram a shielded chip and an unshielded chip. Somebody at FDev really doesn't like armor builds. This is what it is. Someone in FDev, like, yeah, what are we adding? A missile. Take more damage if you ram a shielded chip and an unshielded chip. Night vision, that'll screw over the stealth guys. It was scramble spectrum. Somebody really does hate armor builds at FDev. I swear, somebody does. Now, I'm going to skip out this soon and say enjoy the rest of this fight, because it does get to that point. So I'm decently ahead. I'm doing pretty well. I'm flying aggressive, flying fast, getting in his face, keeping those frag cannons like hitting him over and over again. And as you can see, those shields are coming back up. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ends when the shields come back up. This is a doozy. Enjoy it and say GG to the person I'm fighting, runner. This is a brilliant fight. And say that's all. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.
Diagnostic reverse sequence initiated.
Power plant capacity depleted.